So I was going to go through with 5 ways of how to break the page. And that is a term that Tiff from Southern Gal Designs uses. I did not create that term. I like to take other people's ideas. I don't take them. I like to borrow other people's ideas and jump off from those points of other people's ideas. And so actually it wasn't even her. It was, I think it's Nia Bailey. She was one of the first people that I saw who did, I was trying to figure out how to use the Dina Wakley journal that has the burlap in it. And so I found Nia Bailey's videos, and she talked about using a journal, kind of like this Delusions one, as a mop-up journal. And that was her phrase. And all she says was, you know, she'd be working on one project over in one book, and then she would have extra paint. Or maybe she was working on, maybe you're working on gel printing, and you're not working in a journal, you're just gel printing that day. And so while you're gel printing, you have some extra paint left on your gel plate or on your palette that you're working with because you're working on a canvas or something like that. And so you might go and what do you do with that extra paint? Well, are you going to let it sit there and then just kind of dry out and become a glop on your palette? I did that with something I was working on because I let the paint dry, and I was like, oh, I kind of wasted that paint. That's unfortunate. So, or what you could do is you could take your extra paint, take your brayer, and, you know, you might take it and you might clean it off on the paper underneath, or you could go over to a blank page in your mop-up journal, and you can just, here's one, I'm trying to find one I haven't done anything to. Here's one. So you just clean it up with your journal, like just wipe that paint all over those pages. Just, I mean, it does not matter. It doesn't have to match. It doesn't have to coordinate. It can look like trash. It can look absolutely like trash. It does not matter. The idea is that in an environmental perspective, you're kind of being better for the environment. The next one I would say is if you just have this kind of blank page like this, you can, obviously, you can grab a Stabilo or any kind of water soluble pencil. I have this one called the Sketch and Wash. So you can come in and you can just write a word, right? You can journal. You can also use something like a Tombow marker. Those are water soluble. So you hit them with some water and they are going to melt and run, which is really cool because you might not want to remember what it is that you wrote, right? So you could write something. Right? And you can kind of scribble. You could do some circles. Just kind of literally, look, no more white page. Nope, no more white page. Okay? And then go back with your brush and some water, obviously. And you can decide, do you want to try to write it again? Or do you just want to smear it, right? You could actually go back here and you can say, I'm going to do it this way. Guess what else? This activates with water. This is an interesting thing. It activates with any kind of liquid. So I could come in and I could say, I'm going to actually add some gesso. A little bit. Hopefully I won't add too much, but hopefully this won't be too bad. And I promise you, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say promise because I can't guarantee it, but you come in with your gesso, which also could be considered a way to break the page, right? And what's kind of neat is that the Stabilo will activate with the gesso too. So it will turn it kind of a gray. So will the Tombow. So if you come in and you use a Tombow, which is a marker, it's a double-sided marker, and you can add some marks all around the page. This is not another way of doing it. This is just another thing that you can do to break the page, right? And it will activate. I didn't know that about Tombos. I didn't know they were water reactive, but I'm sure I saw that on somebody's class somewhere. Yes, I have gesso. Yes, I'm getting it on my brush. That's okay. I don't care. But now your gesso is kind of purple. And see? No more blank page here. So nothing left to worry about. This is absolutely just playtime. So don't think of it as a white page and something to be afraid of. Think of it as, this is my playground. This is some place that I can play and do whatever I want, and it doesn't matter. And if you're working in an art journal, which I assume you are. There we go. There's another way to break your page with Stabilo and some gesso and some Tombow, which is like 3 things in one, when really I said I was going to do like 5. So that's another one. One of my favorite ones to do is even to do collage, right? But I have so much collage paper. I have so many things here. And what's fun is, like, you could do a tissue. I'll just do a couple pieces really quick. I'm going to try to do it and try not to get it on my fingers. Okay. Actually, I should have probably just put it straight on the page, because there's nothing precious here. Okay, so you just kind of lay it down. This is deli paper, so it's going to pretty much melt into the background. My palette knife may very well have some paint on it, so it might cause there to be some marks on the page. Okay, so put some of that matte medium down and go to town. And I love to just pick my favorite kind of things to collage with: book paper, pattern tissue paper, because I love sewing, and I've always loved sewing. And here's some now here's my thing. There's a couple things. If you're going to use collage to break the page, you could you might have to stop and not be Anna. You might want to stop and think about what you're doing to break the page, because these are pieces that I stuck together the other day, and they are now sticking together because they have paint on them making them stick. But you might want to think about what it is that you are trying to accomplish, because there may very well be some pieces, like this is a tissue, this is a tea bag. I don't want that to go on the bottom layer. My bottom layer of my page is probably going to get covered up. The whole idea of collaging on the bottom layer is so that you can create some texture for later. So later I might cover this up with paint, but I could still see some of the words. Okay, so I think that I used to wonder why people would collage an entire page and then just cover it up with paint. But I realized that you can have, I've tried to do this and I never successfully do it, but you can designate some of your paper as collage for under paper, you know, background collage, and then some for top collage. The only top collage stuff I ever managed to remember to save for top collage is the Dina Wakley papers, because those are made for going on the top. Okay, so there's that thought, right? Here's a page. It's no longer white anymore. There's paper here. I know a lot of artists do this. A lot of mixed media people will do this. I love how these pages got all stuck together because I had this ink and I just kind of threw it on there, and then so now it's kind of multiple chunks of paper. And if you go watch like Nicole or Laura or even Erin from the Mixed Media Menagerie ladies, they are so good at how they do the collage, because they don't put collage everywhere. They don't put book paper everywhere, but it just helps to get the page started. I tend to just go overboard and put it all over the back, and then it helps if you have a page that actually feels kind of kind of thin, if you're working in an old book and your paper feels kind of thin, you might, it would help to do collage. To me, using a book like this that's not already white just doesn't seem to bug me as much as feeling like it's a white page and it's completely blank. And again, I've started using this as also because I literally will choose whatever book I can find that's laying around as my mop-up journal. So I have no problems doing that. One is Doodle on it. So you could do a Doodles. That was one of my examples. You could easily, is this dry? You could easily go in and take a pen, and you can decide if you want to do one that's actually water soluble or not, right? Because when you add more media later, because you probably will, maybe you're just sitting on the couch and you want to relax and you want to have something kind of mindless to do. So you just kind of decide, I like to doodle quilt designs, and one that I like to doodle is a feather. And so you might just kind of come in and this is just not that great, but you know what? This is a practice for like a feather. Or you might come in and decide that you want to just do swirls. And if you're familiar at all with Zentangling is like this idea of you just sit there and you doodle until you're kind of just in a calm and meditation kind of state. And you could sit there while you're, watching TV one night with your family, they're hanging out, and maybe you just want to doodle and fill up a page. And guess what? It's not a white page anymore. It's filled up. It's all colored. It's all filled up. And then you can decide later if you want to keep it or if you just want to add some water and see what happens. And maybe you add some water, and then now you've got an interesting purple background because it's fun and I like to do that. The hardest thing with me is I don't have a problem with a blank page. I have a problem with leaving white space. I have the opposite problem of the blank page, usually. So there you go. I hope that you like my overview of 5 ways to break your page. Trademark Tiffany. I don't know if it's actually trademark. Copyright Tiffany from Southern Gal Designs, who says thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for stopping by today. I really appreciate all my subscribers. Be sure to ring the notification bell to be notified the next time that I post a video. Give me a thumbs up if you like my video. Drop me a comment and say hi. I love chatting with people. And here's some other videos that you might like. Have a wonderful, creative day.